Well, I want to give a little bit of a shorter silver update with classic silver, classic bikes, and classic women. Actually, these women are from the 1920s before they turned into anorexic wannabe models and they turn into stick figures, which some of them are today and some of them aren't. But anyway, classic always is best, just like classic silver. Um, you know, we've seen a big pullback in silver, or pretty good size pullback in silver. I wish I knew that would happen on a daily basis because I'd be a gazillionaire. But I'm still sticking with silver going up quite a bit by the end of the year. I think it's going to be well over 40. I think it could actually even go up in the upper 40s or even more. But what I'm thinking is that as silver goes up and possibly into 2013 along with gold, there may be problems later on if you have this stock market crash like Mark Farber and Jim Rogers was talking about, that they see the markets in the United States as too high and that there's going to be a major pullback in 2013. There's going to be because the economy is very bad, and the stock market doesn't match up with the economy right now. I don't know if the stocks are going to die off right now, right today. It's really difficult. I mean, they're still way the hell over to 13,600, and I don't really have the opening numbers just yet, but they're going to be coming out. But this pullback in commodities is really due to some news about China. And I don't know why it actually pulled back like that today. I mean, this is the specific reason, the specific story. I'm not going to give you the percentage like what, the outlook, basically in simple terms, the World Bank cut its outlook for China's economic growth. So they had this report come out. China's economic growth outlook looks worse. Great. So people sold silver, gold, platinum, and palladium, and they went into fiat dollars, toilet paper. They felt safe. That's what investors do. I don't know why. They're crazy, but that's what they do. China's Golden Week retail sales growth slowed. Now, I know there's a slowdown in China. It's been pointing this out for quite some time. And a little common sense says, well, their biggest market is Europe and their second biggest market is U.S. And guess what? Europe is looking like horrible and U.S. is not looking good either. So who the hell are they going to sell to? So what do you think's going on in China? There's a slowdown, right? No brainer. But it takes like a specific report coming out, then all the markets react. To me, I think of silver and gold and platinum and palladium as safety. My reaction, but I have to realize the opposite reaction happens in the investment world. But my personal reaction would be, gee, I need to buy some more silver because the earth is falling down, because China's having a slowdown. I need safety. They consider safety running into the dollar. But I just got to point out, in 2013, when it comes up with all this budget stuff, I'm not going to use high tech. I could play games with you high technical terms. I think it's all sales pitch. But in 2013, they got mandatory budget cuts coming in. Like, in other words, if they don't iron this out, they're going to cut this, and this, and hell with it, right? I don't think that's going to happen, even though it's supposedly mandatory. They'll have an emergency measure. And what will happen is they'll say, we can't cut this. This is essential to the government, whatever it is. The Forest Service or something will be cut by so many. I'm just, anything. Because they have to have, if they don't iron out the budget, it just cuts it mandatory by law. Well, there's a lot of things by law that happen by exceptions because they're the lawmakers. So I think there'll be emergency measure in Congress, and they'll say, well, we can't cut this. And then they'll just vote and bypass the law that was mandatory. And whether it was mandatory or not, because they're a bunch of BS. That's what it comes down to. Anything they say means nothing. They're snake oil bullshit. So what will happen from that, ergo, is that Moody's is probably going to downgrade the U.S. debt rating. That could probably make gold go up. That's the only time I could see where gold and silver can actually still be doing really good, even if the markets crash. And oil crashes, the market crashes, S&P crashes, and all this kind of crap. If they can't iron out the budgets in the U.S., yeah, probably more than likely that's what's going to happen. So gold and silver probably might do pretty well. Might do pretty well. So I want to say just to hang on, but I'm going to give this very, very, very solid advice. For the most part, the silver bloggers are about 20% right, 80% wrong. I gave an exception out there, Endless Mountain. I think he's about 80% correct and 20% wrong. He's not 100% perfect, but he gets stuff pretty damn close. That guy's pretty good. Good technical analysis, the best one I ever seen. Now, as far as what to do as far as specifically selling and buying silver, and that's what I'm going to do. If I see silver, I'm assuming I think silver's going to still keep going up for the next 3-4 months. If I see silver hit record highs and it's going up to $55-$60 or something like that, or $65-$70, and I'm expecting it to still go up. I don't think this upward trend is broke at any point in time just due to this little news story coming out, because Ben Bernanke's still doing more QE ad infinitum till things are fixed. So what's going to happen? Silver's going to go up. I think it's just a little hiccup. A story comes out, scares the markets, blah, the story will be over. Something else will come out tomorrow or the next day, or maybe it'll go down a little more. But I think over the year, by even the end of the year, it might be close to 50. So it's going to surprise us. But you're going to hear the fever pitch from most of the silver bloggers, which I think have an agenda. And I think this is a very important point, because I think the average silver investor is being played by the top silver people. And you might even see there might be some very big agendas on some of these popular silver channels to keep people buying, in the middle class buying, at very high rates, even when the fever pitch is very high, and that's not really the best time to buy. They're telling you, oh, the banksters are breaking. Oh, the only reason it went down was because they did this at J.P. Morgan and whatever. But the point is, it went down. It went down. So, they tell you after the fact that it's a buying opportunity. Big deal. Big deal. Big deal. They don't tell you to sell, ever. So that's my point. And I am definitely going to sell the word some, the descriptive some. If it hits record highs and blasts through the record and goes, if it's, 47, 48, around there is the record high, I'd assume when it hits that and it goes through it, it's going to go through it like, the next step, it's probably going to be quite a bit higher. It might be 55, 60, 65, 70, whatever. I'm going to start selling some at 55. Some. And, it just by judging by the fever pitch of the silver bloggers, they're going to be telling you not to. They're not going to be telling you not to. I'm going to say some. And what you do is you trade it for some other hard assets, hardcore motorcycle or whatever. And, to tell you the truth, I'm pretty big on this motorcycle stuff. I had one for like over 30-something years, and Harley. And, my bike, it's a silver update, but I just want to say, a lot of times people are buying silver because they want to save some money. It's getting twice the mileage of a car, even though it has all kinds of high-performance stuff out. And I had it out this weekend, hundreds of miles of runs, and through fog and rain and heavy rain and nighttime and all that other garbage. And, keeps going, putting along. But, a lot of people don't realize that you could save a couple bucks on that. And I think, what's going on recently, I kind of expect that oil prices, when they skyrocket too, that's going to give you an impetus for silver to really move up a lot. So, if you saw in California, due to some fires in refineries, that some of the gas at one station was $7 a gallon for premium temporarily. Well, if we have a war in Iran, I think $8 or more for regular is going to be very much the price. So, I'm going to recommend a motorcycle too. It's like you're not paying as much money out, so it's quite a bit of a difference of what you pay out for the average middle class, because food and energy is going to be your biggest expenses, and you want to save the silver for later when you need to sell it. Like when you see a really, really high price. But as things are moving up with silver, you're going to see some of the most essential commodities moving up too. So, That's why I'm telling people, don't be afraid to sell some if it gets some crazy gains. Right now we're not into crazy gains. 30 something bucks, 40 something bucks, that ain't crazy gains. 55, 60, 75, that's good. That's good. And like I said, keep the bulk of it. Do the opposite of what the majority of silver bloggers say to do. I swear to God, I think they're working for these guys on the top that are, the heavy duty ones into silver. I don't know. They might have a mission to actually keep the middle class buying hard when, they shouldn't be. So I don't trust them. I don't trust the majority of them, to tell you the truth. So keep it classic, classic silver, classic women, classic motorcycles. That's the best way to deal. And, stay away from the freaking bullshit artists, whether they be silver bloggers, politicians, bureaucrats, or whatever, Snake oil all the way. Or preachers. They're the worst.